Alright? As human beings with consciousness, free will, and rational cognition, we are able to change the way we think, or change what we think. We can form an opinion on something, and then with further context or rumination or information, we are able to change that opinion. And you are allowed to do this. The internet is a place of fiery absolutes where something is either the worst thing ever or the best thing ever. You need to pick a side, defend that side until you lose your voice, and most importantly, stay on that side. But the internet is wrong. You are well within your rights as a free thinking human to change your opinion on something. I, for example, did not like the Sleep Token album Take Me Back to Eden when it first came out in 2023, but now after several subsequent further listens, I really enjoy it. Thankfully, I did not make my initial opinion known to the wider internet, because if the wider internet found out I was listening to it in Tesco last week, I'm sure some kind of people would have come for me. The point is, people can change their tastes and it is their prerogative to do so. But is it that easy? Is it just a matter of giving something you don't like another go and you will like it, or vice versa? Doesn't that open you up to having your opinion reinforced instead of changed? Well, maybe. And what if you feel incredibly strongly about something? Can that opinion change? Maybe. I have several unpopular opinions. I think Yu-Gi-Oh! GX is significantly better than Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters. I think Marcelo Bielsa is the most overrated human to ever live. I think Spam is just okay. And I absolutely hate Pirates of the Caribbean: Dead Man's Chest. I think the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie is almost perfect, if not completely perfect. But the second movie is bloated and convoluted and not funny and not fun and stupid and boring. It is truly a tragic parody of the first one, taking all of the positive aspects of it and twisting them and distorting them and inflating them until they're these repulsive mimicries that kind of look the same but make you want to throw up your dinner. However, I know I'm in somewhat of the minority in thinking that, both on the internet and within my own friend group. So what I thought I'd do is actively try to change. As I said in the intro, a person with free will is allowed to change their opinion. And I am a person with free will. And I gave an example of my opinion changing once before, so I should be able to do it again here. If Pirates of the Caribbean 2 is actually good, I should be able to see that and start to like it. The question here really is, can you actually set out to change your own opinion, or is that something that has to happen organically? We shall see. I'm going to watch this movie again, and I'm going to make a note of everything I like and everything I dislike. Assign each thing a score out of 1 to 10 based on how strongly I feel about it. Then total it up. The side with the most points will be the opinion I have to accept that I have on this movie. A flawless, scientifically sound method, I'm sure you will agree. So let's watch this movie.
I mean, just look at this. I mean, this alone is... I mean, this should tell you everything you need to know about this movie.
I can't really hold Disney Plus's select screen against the movie, though. The first thing I'd like to bring up is something that I just noticed on this rewatch of the movie. There is a faint heartbeat sound under the title card, and considering what's inside the titular Dead Man's Chest, that's quite a cool little detail. I'll give that a 2 out of 10. Remember, that's how strongly I feel about something either way, not a score of overall quality. Costume and set design are possibly one of the only consistently brilliant things throughout the whole series when they aren't like polluted by CGI nonsense. There are so many outfits and locations and ships. Everything looks lived in and real and maybe not 100% period accurate. It's not anything that a layman would notice or even care about. Genuinely, 9 out of 10. The dialogue though, I'll tell you what, it is some of the lowest common denominator, lazy, unfunny, modern Hollywood nonsense that you will ever come across. It is so bad that I actually came up with a new critique device. Might as well be horns. If your dialogue is so vapid and hollow and useless that you can replace it with just the sound of air horns and nothing is lost, then your dialogue might as well be horns. This is not a good thing. 9 out of 10 in the bad column. The music. Oh, the music. Yes, you could say it's piggybacking off the music from the first movie, and you could also say that Hans Zimmer copied some of his own Gladiator homework. So we'll dock it a couple of points for that. But this score is up there with Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Harry Potter, and Lord of the Rings. It's brilliant. 8 out of 10. While most of the characters are just annoying, inconsistent, bad joke spouting machines, 5 out of 10, Jack Sparrow needs mentioning separately. When people say, me included, that this movie is a parody of the first movie, it's mainly Jack Sparrow that they're talking about. This man is a different man to the man in the first movie. It's like everyone involved in this character, the writers, the director, the Jonathan Depp, didn't understand why people liked him. They took all his negative traits and amplified them to ridiculous degrees, and took all of his positive traits and minimized them until they basically don't exist. I cannot stress to you enough just how unbearable this guy is in this movie. He suffers significantly from the might as well be Horns dialogue, but it goes way beyond that. He isn't cool anymore, he isn't morally grey anymore, he isn't likeable anymore, he certainly isn't funny anymore. Most importantly, he isn't a side character anymore. Jack Sparrow is the main character of this movie, and it is all the worst for it because you have to put up with his antics for so much longer. A real bad 9 out of 10. Character design is something that maybe could have fallen into like the costume design section, but with all the amazing, awesome fishmen, I think it deserves its own mention. 7 out of 10. Obviously, Davy Jones is also going to get his own mention and a 10 out of 10. It's been said before, but somehow CGI peaked here in 2006. It's not just the way he looks though, he's got more depth than every other character combined. He's always the most fun and interesting character on screen, and Bill Nighy absolutely crushes it. The story is a meandering mess with too many things going on at once and not enough care given to any of them. There are a million characters, each with their own agendas, and while that may seem like a positive comment you'd give to something like early Game of Thrones, it is not positive here. Will Turner, a primary character from the first movie, is off chasing Jack Sparrow and doing stuff with his dad. Then Elizabeth Swann, the other primary character from the last movie, is off chasing him and finds herself in a love triangle of all things. Jack, as we've already addressed, has somehow been promoted to main character whilst being simultaneously relegated to comic relief. And he spends the whole movie prancing around like Mick Jagger, speaking gobbledygook, trying to get the laughs that will never come. There's Norrington, Elizabeth's dad, Will's dad, Beckett, Davy Jones, all doing their own things, chasing their own tails, teleporting all over the sea in different combinations. It is a mess. 8 out of 10. And then we get to the island, and it is this section that really makes me hate this movie. What little plot there is grinds to an agonizing halt, and we spend the next 25 minutes, yes, 25 minutes running about this place, being obnoxiously loud, criminally unfunny, and quite racist. It's awful and only really serves to reunite Will and Jack. Whoever decided this was going in the movie needs to be eaten by bears. 10 out of 10. I hate it. The length of the whole thing is another sin. It is 2.5 hours long, and it is not a brisk 2.5 hours long. It is a painful, torturous 2.5 hours long. Every single scene goes at least 5 minutes longer than it should. Nothing is said quickly. Nothing is conveyed with any urgency. Nothing is progressed like it means anything. Nothing is done with any conviction. 8 out of 10. That monkey though, that is a well-trained monkey. 3 out of 10. And that fight scene on the big wheel is peak Pirates of the Caribbean. It should have been something the whole movie was built around. Actually, a lot of the action is really on point. 7 out of 10. Liar's Dice. I have tried to learn this game in real life. I've had someone, one-to-one, explain it to me, and we were both relatively sober, and I still don't get it. Yes, this is absolutely a me problem, but this is a me video, and me would like to ask, why would you put something so complicated in your movie? 2 out of 10. The cinematography ain't half bad. There are some sexy shots in this. 6 out of 10. The performances, well, I'm not the biggest fan of having a go at actors. I'm more than happy to have a go at a movie or a story as a whole, because a lot of people have a hand in those types of things. But a performance of an actor is all on one person, so it kind of feels a little targeted for my liking. That being said, they aren't great. 3 out of 10. The Kraken's in this, though if you forgot for long stretches of the movie, that's probably because the characters do too. I'm not sure why Davy Jones doesn't just use it to solve all his problems. Well, because the movie needs to be 2.5 hours long. Its tracking powers are really inconsistent, and it's responsible for probably the only really bad CGI shot in the whole movie. 4 out of 10. Then, after the climax where Jack Sparrow gets a wholly unearned Han Solo moment, something dawned on me. This is only half a movie. This 2.5 hour movie has the bloody gall to just be set up for a sequel, and it's not good setup like Infinity War. It just ends with a whole bunch of plot threads dangling in the wind. And it's like, did you enjoy that miserable slog? Well, pop back along in a year's time to see how that miserable slog actually ends. 8 out of 10. Barbossa shows back up though, and that is pretty epic. 7 out of 10. So that's everything I liked and disliked about this movie. Let's total this up and see categorically how I should feel about this movie. We've got a score of 59 for good movie, and we have a score of 66 for bad movie. Vindication. This is still a bad movie to me. I'm glad because I did not have a good time rewatching it, and if it actually turned out I liked it, I'm not sure what I would have done. And do you know what this means? It means I don't have to change my opinion. I was right all along. I opened myself up to the possibility of change, and the cosmos told me I did not need to. It wasn't actually the massive victory of good over bad that I thought it would have been, which means maybe I like this movie a little bit more than I thought I did, but a win's a win. I think I've put something like, can a person change, in the thumbnail, and even before doing this video, we know the answer is yes, obviously. But what about a different question? What about, should a person change? I would answer that now with only if they are wrong. If you think littering is fine, you are wrong and you should change. Thanks to the rigorous process I put myself through in this video, I can see now that I was not wrong about Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Man's Chest, so I have no need to change. Hello, thanks a lot for getting to the end of the video. Like and subscribe, all that good stuff. Next week, the last fanfic bingo with Yu-Gi-Oh! R. Not next week, sorry, a fortnight. I can't make videos every week, unfortunately. Fortnight's time, fanfic bingo with the last Yu-Gi-Oh! R, and then we'll have to think of another thing for the filler weeks. We'll see what we can do. I'll see you then. Bye.